Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another PlayStation 5 review. Today's review is for Chorus, the new space shooter that was released very recently on the PlayStation. It's available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Now I've been playing this for most of this week, on and off. I'm a big fan of space shooters, as you know if you follow my content. I've played a lot of them. And over the years, I really do enjoy them, right from the Wing Commander games through to Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, Everspace, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, Star Wars Squadrons. There's a whole array of space shooters out there that are really entertaining, and I've always really enjoyed them ever since the PlayStation 1 days. So I've been quite looking forward to this one. I saw the trailer for this a few months ago. Looked really good, looked really interesting. So I had this one really ready to go as soon as it was released. I've put a lot of time into this one now. And I have to say, this is a game I'm really enjoying. It's a very narrative heavy game. And essentially you play a character called Nara, who used to work for like this huge evil empire, I suppose, and they end up destroying this planet, and she's directly involved in the destruction of this planet, and she struggles with the guilt of that and defects to the resistance to fight against this evil empire. Now, at the start of this game, you're just in a normal standard spaceship, and very soon, 2 or 3 hours into playing the game, you then reconnect with your old ally, Forsaken, who is your old ship that happens to be alive. So it's like your old companion and your old ship. And you end up teaming up again to battle against this evil empire that's trying to take over the galaxy. So the game itself is, pretty good in many ways. The combat here is very strong. The controls are fluid. Everything works as it should. There's no real confusion here. The effects and the graphics in this game, I think, are, for the most part, really outstanding, and the lighting effects and the explosions, it's all really good, and the different environments that the game offers up always gives you something new and interesting to look at. I think the design of the game and the way it looks is really special, especially when you consider that this isn't a full price game. I think I paid $34.99 for this in the UK, which I think is really good, especially when you consider that if you do everything in this game, you can get up to around 30 hours playtime out of this, which I think is really good value for money. And the game is structured how you would expect, really. You've got your main missions, and as you're traversing to these main missions, you've got a number of side missions that you can take on. And it's usually a good idea to take on many of these side missions because it will give you credits, and it'll give you like extra equipment for your ship and things like that. Because you're going to need that. You're going to need to constantly keep upgrading your weapons on your ship, and on your ship you've got like a 3-tier weapon system. You've got like a Gatling gun, you've got a laser, and you've got like missiles. And you're gonna keep wanting to constantly upgrade and buy new and stronger weapons for your ship. You've got like 3 slots on your ship as well, so that you can customize how you want your ship's loadout to be. So you can make the hull stronger, you can make your shield stronger, you can make your ship faster, you can make your weapons more powerful, and it's up to you to choose which things you're going to put in these 3 slots to kind of improve the ship and make it more powerful. So while there is some customizable options here, in other ways it's quite light. Now, there are other skins you can find while you're playing the game to kind of change how your ship looks. But other than that, you're basically stuck with the same ship throughout the whole game, which makes sense when you consider the ship Forsaken as your companion as well as the ship. But one of the selling points for a lot of these like space shooters is the fact that you can get new and improved ships that look different and fly different and play different. We don't have that here, but what they do give is like they constantly try and make the combat feel fresh and different, because you keep upgrading your weapons and things like that on your ship, but there's also things called rights that you collect while you play through the game. And these essentially are like superpowers that Nara can use in combat, and it's things like transporting immediately behind your enemy, which will kind of give you an edge in combat, which is really, really good. So you can collect these rights and use them in combat, and it freshens it up and makes it feel a little bit different. But for those of you who are like to play these games to like collect or buy or upgrade to new ships, which is, to be honest, a big selling point usually for me in games like this. It's always nice to save up your credits and try and afford the next best ship in that class, etc. You can't really do that here. Another thing that might put some people off in this game, there's no cockpit view. So it's just outside the ship view that you're seeing in the gameplay on this review. There's no cockpit view, which is a little bit of a disappointment. I generally like to fly in the cockpits in these ships, but there isn't one. You don't have that option here, which might be a disappointment to some people. But like I say, it's a really nice, slick space shooter, this one. It's probably, for those of you out there that like to play these sort of games, that like space shooters and like it to be, you know, a little bit of a cut above, this is certainly falls into that category. It does look pretty special at times. It's got some really beautiful cutscenes. The story is actually, while sometimes it's quite clumsy in its storytelling, for the most part it's strong enough to keep you interested. You know, this very simple good against evil thing, and this main character Nara that's trying to right the wrongs that she has done. So it's good in that sense, but some of the side missions are pretty good as well. They're not just go here, do this, fetch that. Some of them are actually, you know, reasonably in depth, but some of the voice acting on some of the side missions are a little bit more wooden than some of the main missions and things like that. So you do actually get quite connected to certainly Nara and Forsaken, your companion, your AI ship, if you like. And it's really, really nice and immediately comfortable. I mean, the controls are very, very easy to pick up for the most part. You can do things like drifting as well while you're flying. When you get Forsaken, you can like drift, which again gives you a little bit of an advantage in battles. One of the things I didn't really like in this game was like some sections that were like puzzle solving sections, using your ship, like using like your drift and things like that to kind of get out of these canyons and things like that, and I found that a little bit frustrating. I don't like when you use your ship for like puzzle solving elements. Generally in these games, it's always the weakest thing for me, because you really have to master this particular skill that they're trying to teach you, and it's basically all it is. It's a tutorial. These puzzle sections that they give you to do, it's like a tutorial to teach you this new special power that you've got for your ship, and sometimes you don't particularly use some of them in battle. There's a couple that you'll stick with that are interesting and fun to use, and some of them you won't use as many as others, so you don't really need to master all of them. But there are times in this game where you do feel like a real badass, you know what I mean, flying around, taking down capital ships, and using your superpowers to jump behind other ships. It can be really, really cool to play at times. So I'm actually going to give this one a pretty strong 8 out of 10. It's a fun game, it's a fun space shooter, and the price I think is just right as well. So this one will certainly keep me happy and entertained until Everspace 2, which is coming out next year, which looks absolutely fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this review, guys. I hope you found it useful. I will be back, of course, with plenty more content and reviews on the channel very, very soon.